Well, hey guys, how are you? Welcome back to another episode of KJ's What Happened. And I missed a few weeks there and had a good reason to. Had some pretty serious health issues come around. And I wasn't even sure if I was going to bring this up in the beginning or just wait till the end of the show. But I know a lot of people are curious about this because I only released this out on my Facebook and on my Patreon. And this is like just over a week ago or so, whenever I got it out to some people. But so I wanted kind of the core group of people that really follow the stuff and been around for years to kind of know what was going on and where I was. But at the same time, I didn't want to make some big production on the YouTube channel about it. A lot of different reasons, but also for one, I believe in the power of thoughts. I don't want hundreds of thousands of people focusing on me having bad health, if that makes any sense. But anyway, so it's gotten out enough. Also, some YouTube channels made some videos and mentioned it, so thanks to all of you guys as well. So first and foremost, thanks so much for all your prayers and all the kind messages. I really appreciate it, you guys. It's helped so much. Just in brief, I'll talk about this and then we'll just get into the show, okay? Maybe at the end, if you have any questions or whatever, we'll see. But I'm young. I'm still in my 40s. I didn't see this coming. It started a few nights before the night it really hit. It was just kind of come and go a little bit, and the pain was radiating up into my teeth and my jaws. So it's like at one point my teeth felt like they were popcorn about ready to pop. Like it just felt my teeth were really hot. It was weird. So that was going on for a few nights, and then it was a Thursday night. So this is just over a couple weeks ago when this happened. It was a Thursday evening, probably around 10 p.m., and then my teeth started hurting again like that. And then my chest started hurting really bad. And I can only describe it like hands made of fire squeezing your heart. Like that's what it felt like. And then your teeth wanting to pop like popcorn. It was just weird. So I grappled with that for a while, was talking to God the whole time. Like, I'm going to call 911. I'm going to do it. Is this serious? Because I really didn't know. I've never been through something like this. But the pain intensified over time. It got really, really bad. So I figured, no matter what this is, it's not good. So I called 911. They were here within like 5 minutes, had me on a gurney. I was still standing up when they got here. I was just like, I think I'm having a heart attack. I don't know what else this could be. So they put me in and took me to the hospital, and that's what we found out it was. I'd had a heart attack. I had two arteries one was 100% blocked, one was 80% blocked. So I have two stents now on my heart. They put these stents in there. They went through my artery in my arm, or they could go through your groin. I chose the arm, I think wisely enough. So they got stents in there. They were telling me it's genetic most likely, but it's also that, since I moved back here from Central America, I've led a very sedentary life. It's not like I'm Charlie Cheeseburger over here. I'm not just pounding junk food and getting fat. Like, I look okay, and I always felt like, well, you look good, so you must be good, and that's simply not the case. So obviously, but they said it was most likely genetics, and also being sedentary for a couple of years doesn't help. So anyway, long story short, that's where I'm at right now. My whole life has changed. My diet's completely changed. I quit nicotine. I was addicted to nicotine for like 25 years. Haven't had any since the heart attack. Started at a gym. I'm going real slow right now, but just treadmill and like light weights and stuff. But, because you only have two choices with something like this. You can either be a little baby about it and just let it destroy you, or you can just say, I'm going to fight. I'm going to do what I've got to do. I'm not going to be a slave to the medical system, even though I am right now. Like I'm on like 6 meds I got to take every day. But eventually, through diet and exercise, I want to conquer this. So anyway, that's it. I don't want to keep talking about it. I guess that was a good 4 or 5 minute kind of thing right there. So for those of you that were curious, but that's what happened. I'm still here, guys. And this is what I do. I'm still processing the whole thing too. It's a big deal. I had a freaking heart attack, so just processing that and wondering and praying a lot about, Lord, what do you want me to do with my life now? I'll keep doing what I do here. I feel this is what I've been called to do. But if there's more, just show me, whatever it is, we'll do, just whatever it is, because he could have taken me. He didn't. And, we'll see, whatever it is. Anyway, I'm rambling. Welcome back to the show. Let's go ahead and get started. I really appreciate, once again, all your prayers and kind messages. So here's a story we'll get started with. Bags with human flesh found in New York City's Bronx. 2 bags containing human remains have been discovered in the Bronx, New York City, triggering a massive police response. The gender of the victims remains unknown. Police set up large crime scene investigation in Crotona Park South and Franklin Street on Friday afternoon after a local park employee discovered 2 suspicious bags by a sidewalk. And there we go. That's about all they know about it, but bags with flesh found in the Bronx. It's a story I'll be watching. See what happens with that. This right here, of course, just more Hollywood hypocrisy. Azia, I think is how she says her name, but Asia Argento, paid off a sexual assault accuser. I'm sure most of you already heard about this, but yeah, she's one of the main people in the Me Too movement, or was, her and Rose McGowan. But now we see that, here it is, Asia Argento. I'm going to say Asia instead of Azia. Asia Argento, the Italian actress who was one of the first to publicly accuse Harvey Weinstein of sexual assault, secretly paid off a young male actor accusing her of sexual misconduct in the months after her revelations about the disgraced movie mogul. According to a report in the New York Times, Argento paid former child actor Jimmy Bennett $380,000. Bennett claims that in 2013, a then 37-year-old Argento assaulted him in a California hotel only 2 months past his 17th birthday, where the age of consent in California is 18. So there you go. Everything coming to light. You may have heard that. That's Chubbs. He's in here right now. Hi. You got a lot to say, huh? Okay. Maybe you can pipe it down a little bit. That'd be nice. This one right here, man, more stories about the chip. This company embeds microchips in its employees, and they love it. Last August, 50 employees at 3 Square Market got RFID chips in their hands. Now 80 have them. This is from August 17th, 2018. When Patrick McMullen wants a Diet Dr. Pepper while he's at work, he pays for it with a wave of his hand. McMullen has a microchip implanted between his thumb and forefinger, and the vending machine immediately deducts money from his account. At his office, he's one of dozens of employees who have been doing likewise for a year now. It's like I've said in a lot of videos in the past about this particular subject. Other people see this as well, but when it comes, people will be begging for it. It's not like everyone's going to be running away from this technology. Once it's like the fully implemented beast system type microchip, but people are going to be begging for it. Not everyone's going to be rushing away from this. We'll be the kooks. We're going to be the weirdos, that don't accept it. Anyway, there's that story there. The idea came about in early 2017, he says, when he was on a business trip to Sweden, a country where some people are getting subcutaneous microchips to do things like enter secure buildings or book train tickets. It's one of very few places where chip implants, which have been around for quite a while, have taken off in some fashion. The chips he and his employees got are about the size of a very large grain of rice. They're intended to make it a little easier to do things like get into the office, log on to computers, and buy food and drinks in the company cafeteria, et cetera, et cetera. So that's what it is. People are just going to think, hey, it's just, it's a little extension of myself, and it helps me get into places and pay for things, and I can check my email or, whatever it is. It's conveniences. Like the robots are becoming more human and the humans are becoming more robotic. That's happening at a really quick pace. Speaking of which, creepy realistic humanoid robot footage sends shivers through Twitter. Have you seen the footage of this? Let me see if I can make this a little bigger. Look at this. Oh, hold on. I got sound on there. Kill the volume. That's where they always get me, is the volume. But look at this, man. I mean, that is right out of the movies. That. Crazy. That's where we're at. This is right out of the movies, man. Look at that. It's crazy. those things are becoming more human-like, and humans are becoming more like beasts and robots in some respects. Not everybody, but a lot of people, it seems, huh? You know, we can't do one of these shows, it seems, without this subject coming up. You know, there's anyway, I had to cover this because I did think it was kind of funny. It shows the idiocy taking place in the world today. Healthline website says the term vagina is no longer gender inclusive. We'll start using front hole instead. Front hole. Wow. Healthline is one of the most trafficked websites in the United States. As of August 2018, it had a global ranking by Alexa of 614 and a United States ranking of 237. This much respected online health journal announced a major shift this week in an attempt to be more inclusive. And here's the problem, right? More inclusive to the LGBTQIA community. So from now on, to make that community happy, to calm people down, from now on, front hole will be used on the site instead of vagina, so that some nutcase who identifies as a teapot or a rake will feel included. This is where we're at. Women have been reduced to front holes. I don't know why, but I want a t-shirt that says front hole on it. Even beyond the meaning or whatever, it's just, that's so classic. It's so classic. Healthline has claimed health disparities and higher rates of HIV and STIs observed in LGBTQIA communities are due to discrimination in the sex ed world, so the California-based health information provider has adopted the gender-inclusive term front hole, there's your t-shirt, in place of the medical term vagina in their latest LGBTQIA safe sex guide. Oh boy, the world's going crazier. Front hole. Oh boy. Sexy. It's sexy. Front hole. It's very sexy. After 4 months, Emmaus High School in Emmaus, I'm probably saying that wrong, Pennsylvania, finally released links to 4 videos it showed to students this past spring after a Christian law firm intervened to defend the rights of parents to know what the public school is showing their children. The school defended the videos as anti-bullying, but they promoted a one-sided agenda with which parents may not agree. The school had refused to make the videos public, arguing that they were students' private work. The URLs, which parents in the American Family Association have been told were all about anti-bullying, proved to be quite the opposite. They were very much promoting homosexuality and transgenderism to a captive audience of children. So this Diane Gramley, president of the American Family Association, said the parents had requested the videos going back to May, shortly after they were shown to a captive audience of kids. The school showed the videos to students in the morning announcements on April 27th, which the LGBT activist group GLSEN has designated a day of silence to spread awareness of the bullying of LGBT people. Gramley joined local parents Michael Huff and Michelle Blackbrow in June, demanding the videos be shown to parents so they could know what the school is promoting to their children. The superintendent refused to show the clips to the parents. Student work and student expression must always be protected, he said. A parent or a member of the public has no right to view or access to a student's term paper, speech, or multimedia project. Anyway, I think we get the idea what's going on here. Teaching the kids. There's some stories connected to this we'll get to whenever they pop up. I'm not sure where they are, but get them while they're young, they say. This is going to be a real fringy one, real cuckoo fringy right here, which, you know, I love. Somebody posted this and said that it's something from the dark web, and it's a reptilian or something like that, you know, taking off their skin. I'm not saying that's what this is, but it's really interesting. It's kind of weird. Again, I don't know where it originates from exactly or any of that. Just I find these mysterious, weird little clips, and I have to check them out. So I don't even think there's volume. Anyway, so watch. And I kind of think it's playing in reverse order, but let's see here. See what I mean? Like that looks like this should be first. And that's not what you'd think. So you see her hands come up above where it looked like breasts, right? So it looks like some kind of a bodysuit. And now you start at the beginning. So it almost, to me, it plays out like this. It's like first it's this. All right. So here's the beginning. Under fake breast, it looks like. And then she pulls that off. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. It's just... You know what I mean? It's weird. I mean, that looks like her, like a scrunched up, weird bodysuit thing that's just being pulled off. Anyway, I don't know. Figured I'd share. Have no idea what it is, who that is, what it means. Sometimes I like the real weird ones like that. In this Kansas City area district, boys and girls will share gender-neutral restrooms. Get them while they're young. They're getting them kids set up for all this stuff. No more I mean, eventually it's going to lead to pedophilia. That's the end of all this stuff. Yeah, they want to give children the rights to have sex with who they choose. You know, that's where all this stuff's leading, I believe. So no more separate restrooms for boys and girls with rows of feet showing stalls. The North Kansas City School District is going fully gender neutral at 2 new elementary schools opening on Wednesday, as well as in a few renovated restrooms in North Kansas City High School and the 6th grade centers. The bathrooms still have an open alcove area with a common trough sink, but the toilets are enclosed inside individual stalls with floor-to-ceiling walls and lockable doors. A single sign on the wall outside displays both the male and female symbols. North Kansas City first tried the gender-neutral design when it opened its Northland Innovation Center for Gifted Students in 2016. And that was a year after one of the district's 4 high schools, Oak Park, made national headlines when it became one of the first in the country to crown a transgender student its homecoming queen. So there you have it. Get them while they're young. This is what the beast system has in store for your children. Get them while they're young. And the modesty's out the door. Modesty's out the door. Little boys and little girls, even like high school boys and girls using the same bathroom. I'm just kind of waiting for the news stories, you know? I'm kind of waiting for the disaster. All the different disasters that can come out of something like that. Here's some really cool footage. I noticed that some mainstream sites were trying to say that this is a blimp. You know, I don't think it's a blimp. I think this is a pretty gosh darn good sighting. Let's check this out.
This is a spacecraft. You see that? All right, this is all I can get of it. Y'all got to go.
Anyway, there's that. I thought that was a pretty good one. I've seen that one floating around quite a bit on YouTube. This is interesting. Brazilian cops dropped masculinity requirement. And we see more of this again. You know, there really is an attack on not just masculinity, but just, I don't know, what is it? Strength? Strength? They want us all to be ninnies. You know, they want us all to be sissies, you know, wimps. And this is worldwide. This is Brazil. Brazilian cops drop masculinity requirement. I wonder why. I wonder if this connects to one of our stories we just read. Police candidates in southern Brazil are now free to get in touch with their softer side. Masculinity has been dropped from the list of 72 required attributes for wannabe cops in the state of Paraná, also gone a prohibition on falling in love. The macho criteria were part of the psychological profile demanded for candidates in 16 different types of jobs, all of them open both to women and men. Masculinity was defined as an individual's capacity to remain unmoved by violent scenes, to put up with vulgarity, not to become emotional easily, and not to have interest in romantic episodes or love. After criticism, and there it is, from a national gay alliance. All right. That's where the power is, it seems. The Brazilian Attorneys Association and the Paraná government, the police rewrote the rules. The new version substitutes masculinity for endurance and deletes the clause on romance, because that's where the power is. You get the gay alliance against you, ruh-roh, you're in big trouble. Stories like this, you never know. I mean, I don't know if this is just some kind of propaganda or if this is true, but I thought it was an interesting story nonetheless. China's ruling Communist Party has chosen to eradicate the faith amongst its 1.38 billion residents, going as far back as banning children from visiting churches. For the government, China's Christian community has long been a source of embarrassment, resulting in bans on the Bible and on public displays of the cross. Church leadership is also required to request approval from the Communist Party, and even church teachings must now be in line with party ideals. The crackdown has been mainly imposed in China's Xinjiang province, on the borders of Pakistan and Afghanistan, with officials saying the region is not Chinese enough. It has become the primary focus of the president's plan to eradicate differences between Chinese communities across the entire country. He insists that Chinese characteristics must be incorporated into all activities, beliefs, and traditions, chief among them being unwavering loyalty to the Communist Party. In April, China's Religious Affairs Department published an article saying that churches must endorse the party's leadership as part of a Sinicization. The article stated only Sinicized churches can obtain God's love. The move is part of Beijing's Principle for Promoting Chinese Christianity in China for the Next 5 Years plan, which details how it will Sinicize Christianity within its borders. Within hours of the declaration, censors moved in to eradicate Christianity. Bibles were seized and banned, and digital versions can no longer be found online. Only an officially approved version from the government-sanctioned open church is available. Images of Christ have already been replaced with posters of President Xi, and Christian children are no longer allowed to attend a church. QAnon, a member of the Township Party Committee, said, "Through our thought reform, they've voluntarily done it. The move is aimed at Christian families in poverty, and we educated them to believe in science and not in superstition, making them believe in the party." One Beijing pastor refuted these claims, saying a lot of our flock are terrified by the pressure that the government is putting on them. It's painful to think that in our country's capital, we must pay so dearly just to practice our faith. Hundreds of small and private churches have been shut down, and for those who have resisted, life has already become difficult. Many of China's Christian communities have responded in a time-honored fashion by continuing their congregational worship in secret. There's some of that story. So yeah, Christian persecution. They're setting up more of the prison bars, I guess you could say. Los Angeles is first in U.S. to install subway body scanners.
Interesting, and it makes them feel more safe. The future is now inside the The passengers we've spoken to say that technology sounds very interesting and it makes them feel more safe. The future is now inside the LA Metro. New high-tech security scanners are being rolled out across the transit system. The idea is simple. From a distance, allow police to find and stop terrorists before they can carry out an attack.
Terrorism is a major concern across the globe, and we want to work with our partners at the local and federal level to do everything that we can to mitigate the risk associated with terrorism.
The technology is similar to what the TSA uses, and passengers say if it can be implemented without slowing passengers down, they're on board.
There's a lot of homeless people, you don't ever know what they could be carrying. They could be carrying a knife, a gun, and you don't ever know. You never know what could happen. Somebody could be having something in their bags or something. Yeah, you just never know.
Officials insist the new security systems are safe, that no radiation is used. The scanners will simply analyze the natural waves of energy that come off your body, which should show if someone is hiding a weapon or a bomb.
We now have the ability.
That's so cool, isn't it, guys? It's so cool. It's going to be really cool when they connect that to the chip. That's how they're going to be able to keep track of people. Do you have your chip? Let's turn on these monitors and take a look. Uh-oh. This one doesn't have their chip. So yeah, this is really neat. This is really good news. This is very exciting. Los Angeles is first in U.S. to install subway body scanners. The future is now. I just wanted to share this one just because when it comes to the symbolism, the way I've seen it and the way I've done videos on it for years, and just kind of my perspective on this is that it is a consciousness, and you'll find a lot of the same symbols, a lot of the same areas. You're running with each other. Let me see if there's a better picture here. But the story is Pearl Jam shares poster depicting Trump's corpse in a burning White House. But Pearl Jam's, they're being controlled by that consciousness. Here's you probably see it down there some, but there's Trump dead, it looks like. The American Eagle, the UFO back there, of course, the fallen aliens, the Illuminati eye, the pyramid with the eye, and there's a lot of little things in here, but it's just when I see this stuff, and this guy's throwing up the devil horns up here, but it's that consciousness. You'll see it come out. I mean, they've done this before. I'll show you what I mean. I go here. Nope. Go here. Here's one of them. Okay. Let's see, it's that consciousness. This will come up. Come on, man. It's the all-seeing eye on this one, and it's the bolt, the lightning bolt. There you go. There you go. So yeah, like right here, you got the all-seeing eye, you got the bolt. Satan fell like lightning from heaven, so you got the bolts. You got the crescent moon up there as well. That's just one example, but you can find a lot of this with Pearl Jam. But I just show you that because it's the way I see stuff. That I know the consciousness because I know the symbols and I see it working through these people or these groups. You'll always kind of just follow the symbols and you can see that stuff. This one's really awesome. This one's for those people out there that love animals. I know that's a lot of people. It's not like it's just a small group. But this is just one of the greatest videos I think I've ever seen in my entire life. And no, it's not scary, fringy, creepy, weird, bizarre. It's just, kind of cute, kind of awesome. But anyway, check this out. See if I can make it a little bit bigger here. Cat's about to get in a fight. Isn't that great? Just like, no, man, I'm looking out for you. You don't want a piece of that. Check him out. He's creeping up. He's about to get in a fight. like, no, man, not tonight. Come on. Not tonight. Anyway, just wanted to share that one. I thought that was cute. One more time. He's creeping. This guy says, no, not tonight, man. You don't want any of that. Come on. Come on. I love it. Anyway, there you go. So some of you out there, there's a wide audience. So, you know, I think I appeal to a lot of different kinds of people, but some of you out there are really into monster stuff like I am, you know, like real monster sightings, and, you know, do these things really exist? And what are they? I mean, I've always been into this stuff. But anyway, this is a pretty cool documentary coming out, The Bray Road Beast. And long story with this one right here. It's there's a lot of history with the Bray Road Beast, but let's see if I can read. Here it is. Here's the press release. In 1989, a country road outside of the Wisconsin town of Elkhorn became the center of a media frenzy unlike anything the world had ever seen. People were seeing what looked to them like a werewolf, said Linda Godfrey, the newspaper reporter who brought the story to light in a local publication called The Week. In fact, many people, locals and out-of-towners alike, had sightings and encounters with the creature that came to be known as the Beast of Bray Road. Many of these sightings were largely ignored or underreported. That is until October 5th, when the new documentary film The Bray Road Beast will unlock decades of history relating to werewolf sightings around the U.S. The film explores not only the infamous Elkhorn creature sightings, but also centuries of werewolf legends and myths from across the globe, from the predominant theory that witnesses merely saw an undiscovered species of large wolves to more bizarre aspects of the phenomena. No stone is left unturned in this 66-minute film shot on location in and around Wisconsin. All right. So there you go. The Bray Road Beast. If you're into these documentaries on monsters and creatures, there's a lot of interesting history here with the Bray Road Beast and werewolf sightings. This is a really, really crazy story, and I've been really watching close, but of course, stories like this, they don't get a lot of play, you know? I mean, this one hasn't as of yet, you know, maybe something more will come out, but this is from August 16th. Suspect in more than 80 overdoses in Connecticut didn't charge victims for the drug. This tells me this is some kind of possibly a huge, not a psyop, but an operation, like an actual operation. Let's see what they say here.
Police in Connecticut are warning that a bad batch of synthetic marijuana has caused more than 70 overdoses since early yesterday morning. Emergency crews say they've been treating most of those overdoses in and around a popular park near Yale University. They believe the synthetic marijuana, or K2 as it's called, is laced with fentanyl. So far, police have arrested one man that they believe is connected to these cases.
That's very interesting. It'd be... Oops. Stop this. It'd be really interesting to see what that guy had to say, right? Yeah, what does this guy have to say that just they gave out all these drugs, they didn't charge, and what, it's just a coincidence that all these people got sick? Just makes me wonder. Like, what kind of an operation was this? Was it really just a handful of sick drug dealers that wanted to do this for whatever reason? That doesn't make any sense. A drug dealer wants to keep a good reputation, of course, right? So I don't know, but that's one I'd be watching. We'll see if anything else comes out about it. If you guys have heard anything else about this story, you know, please let us know. It's very interesting to me. And speaking of monsters, just can't get enough. Huge furry sea monster washes up on a beach and no one can figure out what it is. A massive mysterious creature is washed up on a beach in Russia. Naturally, everyone is freaking out. According to the Siberian Times, a smelly, hairy sea monster at least 3 times larger than an average human turned up on the shore of the Bering Sea on the Pacific side of the Kamchatka Peninsula. fun fact, I kind of know that area. My first tour in the Coast Guard was in Kodiak Island, Alaska. I was on a boat, 180-foot boat. And we toured the Aleutian Islands in the peninsula. So we went through a lot of this area here. But anyway, the incident was first reported by Svetlana Dyadenko, a witness who saw the mysterious creature and captured photos and video of the beast. In a video shared on YouTube entitled Kamchatka Sea Monster, witnesses on the sand examine what appeared to be an animal with gray and white coloring, lots of fur, and possibly a tail. Let's see if I can find that video. Oh, there's another picture of it. Wow. Dyadenko also asks if it could be an ancient creature and pleads scientists to inspect this enigma that the ocean threw at us. In her post, she also explained that the creature was too heavy to be moved or dug up. Huh. Interesting, huh? More pictures of it. Beasts rising from the sea. I just wanted to show this one. I mean, again, just to show that I've talked about this before. You know, a lot of what I'm interested in is eschatology and, you know, kind of end times stuff. And that's just what I've always been drawn to. And even I, years ago, used to wonder, you know, how is the world really going to change to that point? Are we really going to get to a point where half the population, if not more, is like attacking the other half because they're Christians? You know, I mean, is that really going to happen? And what's that going to look like? And what's the process of getting humanity to get to that point where there's no more tolerance of anything? And now I feel we're kind of seeing that in a really big way. And even in these little stories like this, you know, this liberals attack Queer Eye. This is, I guess, a show on Netflix. It's a Queer Eye show. The liberals attack Queer Eye star for tweeting, "Not all Republicans are racist." And this guy they really took it to him. I mean, you could just scroll right down here and you'll see all these people who are just putting it to this guy. And it matters to me, like I said, just because I'm concerned sometimes if that question of mine is finally being answered, if that's what I'm seeing take place here. That's where we're at with things. You know, people are going crazy, you know, and they're extremely divided. That false left-right paradigm has really worked, hasn't it? And it's got people stretched, their sanity just stretched, you know, to the ends. And just hatred for one another. You know, hatred for one another over these things. We're politics. So I just look at the bigger picture of it all, you know, like what's the end game of all this stuff? What's even this right here? I think that's why I included this one. I did a video a while back called First the Statues, Then the Churches. And it goes back to that same idea. We're seeing that, you know, spirit that's working through people. And we're seeing it right here with violence and, you know, erasing history and, you know, things like this. Preparing for the last age, you know, preparing for the time of the Antichrist. But erasing history. ISIS has erased a lot of history. Did you know that? ISIS, like 9 major areas, historical areas in the Middle East have been destroyed by ISIS. There's this whole thing been going on for several years now about us destroying our history. You know, humanity is destroying its history. I feel like it's just more examples of the world preparing for the end in a way. I know, I'm just rambling. I do that, but it's the way I see it, you know. Farm orgies involving 3 men having sex with horses, cows, goats, and dogs for 5 years. 5 years. Discovered by police. He doesn't look creepy at all. A group of men were arrested on suspicion of having sex with at least 12 farm animals after a tip-off to police led to a raid. 3 men are being held by Pennsylvania State Police who served a search warrant at a rural home in the small town of Munson, Clearfield County, which is 130 miles northeast of Pittsburgh. Terry Wallace, 40, Matthew Brubaker, 32, and Mark Minzikoff, 34, face more than 1,000 charges each after what is thought to be 5 years of abuse of the animals. District Attorney Bill Shaw told them the charges so far are part of an ongoing investigation into the abuse of animals. He told them, "This is an unpleasant topic, but the facts are that we received a report of folks having sexual intercourse with animals, farm animals." This guy looks completely normal to me. I'm just kidding. It's really scary how the evil and the darkness can just show through people too. Not just, I'm not saying weight or hair or stuff like that. So in the eyes, you see it in the eyes. Those dead eyes. Craziness. People becoming like animals. Always goat stories. There have been a lot of goats stories here lately. More than 20 goats escaped from a truck headed to a Brooklyn slaughterhouse Tuesday when the driver pulled over for a nap. It's the third time a herd has broke free in less than 2 weeks, sources said. The animals have been doomed for the dinner plate when they busted out of a trailer attached to a pickup truck near the live slaughter halal market. I'm always wondering what the rest of the story is with these goat stories. I saw the driver this morning and he didn't say anything to me, stupid guy, said Ali Saeed, who owns the market on Wyckoff Avenue and Hancock Street. Anyway. So yeah, well, I think there's some more of these here. Yeah, see, the Animal World jailbreak comes less than a week after 75 sheep and goats escaped from a livestock auction. Then on August 3rd, 100 goats broke free from a truck. So there have been these goat stories coming out. Baphomet stories, goat stories. I just feel it's the way I connect things and see things. I think these things manifest in that way. At least that's the way I pick up on it. Another one here from August 20th. Goat spotted roaming subway tracks still on the Lamb, Lam. I thought that was interesting. Lamb. Again, this is just the way I connect stuff. You know who Lamb is? Some of you guys do. Aleister Crowley, one of the most... some people called him the most wicked man in the world, or the Beast. His own mother called him the Beast 666. But anyway, he believed he was talking with aliens, but these are his aliens or demons, or he called them something else. But that's basically what this is. This is Lam, Lam right here. It's the Tibetan word for way or path, and Lama, what it says right there in that little thing. Hi, Chubbs. What's going on? Okay, can you pipe it down a little bit, please? Thanks. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. All right, so there we go. So that's lamb. Just random, I know, but just wanted to throw it out there. Goats are on the lamb. Mardoshi Yembe was like any other 8-year-old boy. He loved football and played in goal for a youth team in North London and enjoyed spending time with his friends at school, but he was hiding a secret. He'd been sent to live with his aunt and uncle from the Democratic Republic of Congo after his mother passed away, but at this new home in Islington, his relatives were accusing him of being a witch and seriously abusing him. Mardoshi, I'm not sure, now 26, was subjected to 2 years of exorcisms where pastors tried to coax the demons out of him through repetitive prayer. He was starved to the point where he would search for dropped coins on the street to secretly buy food, sleep deprived, and threatened by his aunt and uncle. They even pulled a knife on him and said they'd kill him if he didn't stop being a witch. His relatives burned his precious possessions, including football medals and certificates, saying that he was using these to be able to gain enough power to fly. But he is not alone in suffering this type of abuse in the UK. Thousands of children are being put through these horrifying exorcisms, and they are taking place behind closed doors in flats, houses, and churches in Britain's streets. But it's interesting because there is a rise of demonic possession. You've seen a lot of the calls for the Catholic Church, and more exorcists they need and everything else. So we know the spiritual battles are increasing. Again, maybe this will be a way to eventually just turn the narrative against, again, Christianity or Christians. saying they're seeing people with, demon possession and whatnot. And they'll be like, you guys are crazy, and I don't know, maybe that's how it's going to play out. I don't know. Anyway, let's keep going, though. This is some pretty wild stuff. So what's more is they're on the rise. Earlier this year, the Department of Education released figures showing there were over 1,400 child abuse cases across the UK that were linked to witchcraft and demonic possession beliefs between 2016 and 2017. So yeah, like I said, I could see maybe that's part of this. The real narrative with some of these stories is look at the crazy Christians saying people have got demons in them. Meanwhile, there are crazy Christians. Unfortunately, they get all the spotlight. People like this guy, or these people, this family. Beliefs in witchcraft are still strongly held within some communities in Central and Western African countries. All right. Anyway, I think that's about it. It's the gist of it. Hard to find information on this one. It's something for you, gumshoes out there, you internet sleuths, detectives, if you want to look more into this, and especially check out this book here, The Lost Boys of Bird Island. 9 days after a former police detective published a book exposing a high-level government pedophile ring that murdered children, he was shot in the head. A former police detective and author of a bombshell book that exposed a massive pedophile ring made up of high-level government officials was found shot in the head last week. While officials are calling it an apparent suicide, his family is claiming that he told them he would never kill himself and that people were after him because he was about to expose even more high-level government pedophilia. Mark Min, I believe, author of the controversial book, devoted his post-police life to exposing the corruption and horrifying pedophilia he discovered while working as a detective. Minnie and his good friend Chris Stein, also a former cop turned investigative journalist, worked together on the book to expose a government and business community who took children to Bird Island where they were abused and some possibly murdered. The book details the level of their involvement in the pedophile ring, abuse of the children, alleged acts of murder to cover up the crimes, as well as corruption and abuse of high-level state resources by the network's members. The book details the corruption within the last apartheid government of South Africa and implicated officials all the way to the top, including Defense Minister Magnus Malin and the Minister of Environmental Affairs John Wiley. Before his death, Minnie announced that he was approached by many more people with even more damning evidence, which he planned to reveal in a sequel of the book. However, he died before he could finish it. The book was published earlier this month on August 5th, and only 9 days later, Minnie would be found dead. Officials claim they found a suicide note at the scene, but his family says they don't believe it at all. Tercia Dodo, a family member of Minnie, told reporters that just days before he died, that if anything happened to him, they must know he was killed. He mentioned to us all the time his life was in danger, and if anything did happen to him, we must know that it was done to him, not by himself. Dodo says Minnie was being watched and feared for his life because he had information which would have exposed even more people. I knew about the book for many years, and I knew what he had been through. It really played him that he had seen and been involved with the investigation surrounding the book. Dodo came forward on her own after she saw the suicide narrative being played out in the media. She said she was compelled to do so to dispel the myths. Mark was not a coward. Mark faced life head on, she said. There's no ways that I or any of us believed that he would have opted out, and that is why I agreed to do this interview, to dispel any thoughts and rumors of suicide. He was not the type of man that was cowardly and that would do something like that. As for the note, police allegedly found next to Minnie's body, Dodo believes it's either fake or was written under duress. All right, there you go. So there's something fun for you to look into. The Lost Boys of Bird Island. Check that out. Mark Minnie. Stop, Chubbs. Did you see this one? Hundreds of New York City men pranked after showing up for a Tinder date with the same woman. I think I can play this. Let's see. No. Hundreds of unsuspecting men in New York City got a rude awakening when they showed up for a date, only to find out they were all there to meet the same woman. My name is Natasha, and I have a confession to make for everyone here, said Natasha Aponte, after taking to the stage in Union Square where the men had gathered August 19th. Everyone here today was brought here to be on a date with me. Many of the love seekers even showed up with flowers and chocolate, but left with a bitter taste in their mouths when they realized it was all a big prank. The con artist, a self-described actress and model, said she planned the jaw-dropping act to show just how much harassment women face with online dating apps, and she wanted to give men a taste of their own medicine. Statistically, people who are on dating apps, half of them are in relationships, so those people should leave, the bold bachelorette wannabe told the crowd of men. Rob Bliss, the man who helped to produce a viral video of a woman being incessantly catcalled in NYC, said he had a hand in this production as well. Anyway, there you go. Here's that. Okay, I got to give a warning on this one right here. Okay, there is bad language in this, but it's a bird saying it. I know it's still a bad word. I'm just giving you a fair warning. Okay, I thought this was really funny, but so I want to share it with you. But I'm just warning you, there are some bad words in this. All right. So now that the kids, you got the earmuffs on and the kids are out of the room. So here you go. Check this out. This is Bird Reacts to a Magic Trick. I'm sorry, man. That's goofy. All right, that's it. Sorry. I know. Bad word. Bad word. There's a bird saying it. That's okay, right? Right? This one's really crazy, too. This, I think, this is a big kind of mainstream story, but I think there's a video. A police officer begged a female security guard to put down her cell phone and help him subdue a robbery suspect in Houston. Bystanders began filming the confrontation between the officer and 17-year-old Devon Miller, who was pulled over and ran from the officer, a local news station reported. He's trying to kill me, the suspect yelled, while the officer yelled that Miller was trying to grab his service weapon. Here it is.
Why did you press me on my face? Tell me! You pressed my face! You pressed my face! That's my gun! I ain't gave it good! I ain't gave it good! That's my gun! Why did you press me on my face? Tell me! I didn't push you back. Why you pushing me? Why you push me? Stop that my phone! Shit! Oh God! Shit! I got your face! Record me! Somebody help me! Record me!
Stop resisting!
Grab my cuss! Let go my fucking cuss!
Stop resisting!
You're trying to kill me, son!
No, he's not! Just stop resisting!
You feel like that? Why you kill me?
Stop resisting!
You trying to kill me?
No, he's not! Stop resisting! We watching this man!
Oh my God!
He's not gonna kill you! We all out here with cameras!
Why you do that, son? Why you do that? Why you do that? Why did you do that? Stop grabbing my gun! Oh my God! I didn't grab his gun! I didn't grab his gun! I didn't grab his gun!
Dang. See, there it is at the end. That's intense. Because the guy on the ground, the suspect's grabbing the dude's gun. So.
Why you do that, son? Why you do that? Why you do that? Why did you do that? Stop grabbing my gun! Oh my God! I didn't grab his gun! 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 I didn't grab his gun!
Isn't that sad? Just so many people in our society are just drones like this. Everyone's filming. It's always everything's getting filmed. It's like everyone's living in their own little movie, you know? Like the world is fake news. Everyone's living their own little movie. It's not paying attention. It's just filming, you know? I figured some people would be interested in this story here. QAnon conspiracy theorist meets Trump at White House. A lot of people have asked me about Q and all that. I'm not into it. No offense. I don't ever trust any shady groups that just, and I know people defend this and they say it's great and what. And again, it's just not my thing, man. I'm not, it's not something I connect to. I don't care if other people do. It's interesting, But anyway, QAnon conspiracy theorist meets Trump. Former NYC TV commentator and now kooky conspiracy theorist. Oh, yeah, they don't have an agenda at the... Who wrote this? Oh, the New York Post. Okay. And now kooky conspiracy theorist. Okay. Got a private audience with President Trump. Attorney and QAnon conspiracy theorist Michael LeBron, better known as Lionel from his former gig at WPIX, snapped an Oval Office picture with Trump on Thursday and posted it on social media. Anyway, yeah, so apparently this guy talks a lot about Q, and some people think this is a really big deal. Lionel Media is where that's from. And it is interesting he's actually meeting Trump, so who knows? This whole thing is it's a very interesting circus to watch, isn't it? Ex-teacher wants to seize South Florida school with 200-plus armored tanks. Maybe he'll explain why. I guess not. Okay. A former North Halea elementary school teacher is on federal radar after posting several concerning YouTube videos. In one of them, he says he wants to seize the school and the Miami-Dade County School Board building with armored tanks. School leaders confirmed late Friday. David Givens said he wanted 200-plus armored tanks to seize North Halea Elementary and Miami-Dade County Public School Board. Okay, we got that. Twice you've told us this now. He added amid a rant, "I am the superior teacher that will ever exist. Not one of you Cuban teachers who taught at North Halea Elementary was my equal." Okay. Well, there's the story, I guess. I wanted to show you a video, but it looks like something's wrong there. So moving on. And this is what I was saying, too. You really see the division in the way people think and people's sanity when it comes to the politics of it all. That's when you're really seeing them show themselves, this whole right-left thing. But look how people, it's violence. And often it's people coming from the left. The narrative is that anybody from the right, they're the bad guys. They're the violent ones. They're all KKK. There's so much Nazi programming going on right now. It's not even funny. So we see that all the time. But meanwhile, reality, what's happening is it's these cuckoos from the far left who are doing all this violent stuff. Man arrested for threatening to shoot and blow up TPUSA High School Leadership Summit. An Illinois man was arrested last month for threatening to do that. 28-year-old Alexander Micah Cohen, C-O-H-E-N, Cohen, the tribe perhaps, I think, tweeted a photo of a man with a baseball bat wrapped in what appears to be barbed wire, writing, "On my way to greet the nice conservative teenagers." Another tweet said, "I'm riding through D.C. to go and shoot GWU up. We go and come and blow GWU up." So there we go. Cohen reportedly told a police officer that she should focus on others who post photos of guns. Added, when asked the meaning of his posting on July 26th, he declined to comment any further. "It's sick and disturbing that leftist radicals hate high school conservatives so much that they have to resort to threats of death and terrorism." TPUSA head Charlie Kirk told the Daily Wire. All right. Just throwing that out there as another example, though, of people are turning to violence for the answer. So many of these things here. This is just a really amazing video. I just wanted to share with you some really cool footage. Anyway, check this out. This is a guy in one of those flight suits. This is a real human being doing this. Look at this. Here's his camera guy. It's pretty amazing, huh?
What's that?
Would you do that? Would you wear one of those suits and go flying like that? This is huge to me. This one's going in. I've got 2 videos I'm working on now. They should be up this week, but I pledge allegiance to our global society. School tries to replace Pledge of Allegiance. Guys, I mean, the writing's on the wall, right? You see it. When the Atlanta neighborhood charter school decided to replace the Pledge of Allegiance in its morning student parent meeting with a pledge to school, family, community, country, and our global society, it felt the wrath of citizens and parents, which is good. That's good. People weren't liking that. Anyway, that's basically the story. I pledge allegiance to our global society. We pledge allegiance to the new forefathers. So they call them in the pledge. Or the, not the pledge, the purge. Interesting note, you know, I mean, we got another shooter at it was a video game. They're playing Madden. It's like a video game contest or conference or something. I just saw this over the last couple days in Jacksonville. But you know, and as soon as I hear these things, I know part of the narrative that's going to come out. Of course, it's always about the guns, but I'm always interested in, you know, is there a history of this person being on SSRIs or anybody in their family, you know, like CIA or Alphabet Agency? You know, you start looking at these certain things, you know, and so immediately I was thinking about that, and sure enough, here's the story. Accused Jacksonville gunman once hospitalized for mental illness. So this is one I'll be watching just to see how it develops, you know, and how it turns out. We'll see. This one's crazy, man. I don't have the energy to read it all to you. I would suggest you should check it out. It's pretty funny. It's also really scary that people like this exist. Susan's a woman who grew up on a farm and met the guy of her dreams when she was just 14 years old. At 18, they got engaged and shortly after had a child together. To celebrate their love, she wanted a blowout fairy tale wedding on the tropical island of Aruba, Venezuela. But the lavish affair came up to $60,000. Naturally, she asked all the guests to donate $1,500 each. Understandably, majority of the guests refused, and her relationship with all of them, as well as the one she had with her fiancé, quickly deteriorated. The wedding was called off. Anyway, Susan is now planning to go backpacking around South America and doesn't give 2 hoots about the C words and snakes who ruined her wedding. So I went through, when I first found the story, and read all of her tweets, and it's the whole story laid out, and it is unbelievable. People like this exist. It's very real. Let me see if I can read maybe the end part of it, what happened. Oh, here it is. Okay, so here's a part. Here's what she said. Here's one of her messages after all this went down. She says, I specifically asked for cash gifts. How could we have our wedding that we dreamed of without proper funding? We'd sacrificed so much and only asked each guest for around $1,500. We talked to a few people who even promised us more to make our dream come true. My maid of honor, who shall not be named, pledged $5,000 along with her planning services. We tearfully thanked and accepted. My ex's family offered to contribute $3,000. So our request for $1,500 for all other guests was not effing out of the ordinary. Like, we made it clear. She even wrote like, we made it clear. If you couldn't contribute, you weren't invited to our exclusive wedding. It's a once-in-a-lifetime party. So we sent out RSVPs, and only 8 people replied and sent us the check. We were effing livid. How is this supposed to happen without a little help from our friends? To make matters worse, my ex's family took back their offer. Suddenly, more backed out. Susan's partner still wanted to get married despite not being able to afford the grand wedding they had envisioned, so he suggested eloping to Las Vegas. I laughed in his face, but he was dead serious, she said. He wanted those cheap, raggedy, filthy, whore-like Vegas weddings. I mean, what the F? Was he out of his mind? Am I some hooch piece of effing trash, a hooker? My ex left the room and didn't apologize for his horrid suggestion. I then called my maid of honor and cried my eyes out. Instead of sympathy, I was told I was asking for way too much and I should stick to my budget. Good for that girl. I'm telling her. I just wanted to be a Kardashian for a day. There we are. There's your programming. There's your programming. I just wanted to be a Kardashian for a day and then live my life like normal. I called her a filthy, effing poor excuse of a friend and hung up. Anyway, there you go. Classy gal. But if you want a good laugh, you should read those tweets sometime. It goes back to that programming again. You know, they're getting at the kids, and now we're at a point where we have stuff like this happening. A Denver mom wants to shine a light on bullying and suicide after the death of her son last week. The woman said her son killed himself in their home on Thursday. He was 9 years old. Leah Pierce says bullying was a factor in the death of her son. Over the summer, his mom said he came out to her as gay. At 9 years old, he came out as gay. And he looked so scared when he told me. He was like, Mom, I'm gay. And I thought he was playing. So I looked back because I was driving, and he was all curled up, so scared. And I said, I still love you, Pierce said. Pierce said her son wanted to tell his classmates. He went to school and said he was going to tell people he's gay because he's proud of himself. Pierce said when he came out, he opened up about wanting to dress more feminine. And he goes, can I be honest with you? Pierce said. And I was like, sure. And he's like, I know you buy me boys stuff because I'm a boy, but I'd rather dress like a girl. It's very sad. On Thursday, 4 days into the school year, the child took his own life. She found her son dead in their Denver home. She said he killed himself after being bullied. 4 days is all it took at school. I can just imagine what they said to him. And I see a lot of different sides of this, personally. For one, I think it's sick what this system's done to the children. It has now 9-year-olds. I don't know. 9-year-olds convinced they're gay. The bullying is never acceptable. I mean, I'm against that. Don't get me wrong. But just that a child was put in this position. I don't know, man. The programming. Dude, he's not the only one. I'm sure there's a lot of other children out there. Isn't that crazy? 9 years old? 9 years old. The innocence, right? Where is it? I think that actually concludes our news for this week. So let me close that. I'm jumping over here now to the chat room. Guys, thanks again for being here. Like I said, you know, I'm back. I really appreciate all of the the prayers, all of the really nice messages. Big shout out to my Patreon friends. Thanks for hanging in there with me, you guys. I do have 2 new videos I'm working on now because that's what I do. You know, I mean, that's the other thing after all this. It's like, this is what I do. You know, I don't know what else to do. So I got a couple videos I'm excited about getting out to you guys. They'll be out this week. Thanks for supporting my work out there. You can also support through checking out Silver Botanicals. I'll leave a link below. Check out their essential oils. Check out their household products. These guys are fantastic. It's my sponsors. And that's it, man. Otherwise, God bless you. You know, once again, thanks for all your sweet and kind messages and all your prayers. And now I'm rambling, but guys, I'm okay. Like you said, I've made a lot of big changes in my life now. This is still happening and still pretty fresh. I'm not going to live in fear, though. I'm just going to go along with it. I'm praying that the Lord guides me, you know, if there's something else I need to be getting into or doing, and we'll see. You know, we'll see how it all plays out. But until then, still be doing my shows, and I'll still be making my videos, and I've got a lot of work to do. So thanks again to those of y'all who, support the work. And just thanks again for those of y'all who've been really kind and praying for me and whatnot, okay? So until next time, y'all take care. Much love to you, and I'll be back this week with more.